Hey, hey, what is going on, Pablo? What's going on over there?
Technology, man. I see you. So I was gonna say, I see you gave me too much credit. You said I was doing the DVR thing, and it's more like a beta. The beta max is what I. So, my my grandpa back in the day, he was like super hardcore. He had like these like cabinets full of VHS movies, and they had numbers on them, and he had a clipboard with all the numbers on the movies and all that. And it was all handwritten. And if you took one, you checked it out like a real library. It was hardcore. But then he also had this other one that was all beta, and then you could take the little beta tape out. And for way back in the day, people don't even know what a beta tape is anymore.
Really? Yeah, I mean that's old technology there.
It is pretty old, but what's new with you, man?
Oh, it's been a busy, slamming busy day. But yeah, I'm on about 3 hours sleep. I was
Yeah, you were up
hanging
late
out, and
last
then I
night.
realized I needed to come over here because I was gonna fall asleep and miss the show completely if I wasn't careful.
Yeah, we were messaging my time at like 12:30 last night. So you were up super late.
Yeah, it was about 4 when I went to bed.
That's crazy. That is crazy. What's everyone up to out there? So we see Black Market's in the house. Mr. McDowell's in the house. Addicted to RC. Mr. Rogers. Gian Gulio. Is that the right way to say that? I'm sure I'm butchering that one up. Shiki's in the house and gaming. So, yeah, man, it's been I had to, my wife's grandfather we were moving him into a new retirement home or so. So we're the ones with the truck and with the trailer. So we had to go and do all that today. And last week we had to move. I don't remember if I talked to you before or after we moved all the brand new desks and chairs into their kids' school stuff. So that was something different. But yeah, guys, hopefully I see you're getting a lot of work done on your 24 there, man. That's pretty sweet. We're still a little bit behind on our stuff. I got a print going, so we're actually printing now, and it's only
Nice.
going to take like 3 days to print. So
That's a long print. I hope that you have a failure in the next 3 runs of it.
I know, that's what I was like. I was like, okay, as soon as I'm done printing this one, I'm going to print another one, and I might use one body as my scab body and one body as my like going for the gusto body. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. What's new around RC right now, man? I saw Harley's video dropped as always on Tuesday, but man, today I just didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, the only thing I heard and I saw his title for his, and I'm guessing what he's talking about. So now I'm having the one having the technical difficulties. I lost you in my headphones right when we started for some reason.
Oh no.
Yep. So it's coming out of my little Mac Mini speakers, which, as you can imagine, sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Nice
got
and
the
tinny.
tinniest speaker I've ever heard. No, so kind of a bummer thing is that Venom Power is closing its doors. The battery company, charger company.
Yeah.
And I was sponsored by them for a couple years there. So that's sad to see. They made quality products. So definitely bummed about that. But there's just so many things I think that play into it. Fewer people in the game is one of the things. Did I lose you?
Nope. I still got you.
But yeah, there's fewer companies in the game because like when they were around, everything was moving towards like XT60 and Dean's.
Yeah.
And you had a Hobbyco, you had Horizon, you had Traxxas, but there were all these other companies, and you had all these different battery connections. But once it went down to like Traxxas had their thing, and they have their ID charger.
Right.
Horizon has their thing with Spectrum, and they're all the IC3s. And so it's
Right.
kind of hard as a battery company, in the middle of that, where I don't know if there's proprietary tech or if they're sharing or even allowing buy-ins to some of that tech, but it's
Well,
definitely
see,
tough because it's so nice. I mean, if you've ever used the smart stuff or even the Traxxas one, to just plug it in and let it go is pretty awesome. And
yeah,
to
see,
not have that is tough.
I don't have anything like that. I have a charger that's just like a Hexfly, from Red Cat charger or whatever,
Yep.
and it doesn't even have, all you do is you plug in your balance port. So it's like a slow 3 amp charger. And I'm fine with that because before I was able to plug two S's in at a time and just charge. Now we're running a lot of 3 and 4S now, but it's interesting because, battery technology is one of those things where you got to feel like half of them are probably the same company, just with a different label on them, a lot of black
Right.
label stuff. But yes, with the different technology with the connectors, I'm a Dean's guy, and I know I'm probably going to take a lot of heat from being a Dean's guy, but
You are old school, dude.
I still watch
You're
VHS. I
Betamax.
don't. I know. Actually, I don't have a VHS player in here anymore. But no, for real. I mean, like, I looked at it and I was like, I could go out and buy all the new plugs, or buy however many batteries and however many cars I have, and just go and cut and redo them. But I'm like, that just takes way too much time. It's not really worth it. I'm still getting batteries, Ovonic batteries, and most of those are Dean's. The ones I just got were 4S, and those were XT60s, I think, the little yellow ones.
Yep.
So that one seemed to be all right. But I just got an adapter, a $9 adapter for it, and because, to be honest, like, for what I'm doing, we're racing, but we're not like that little bit of power difference, sucking it down from a Dean's to an XD, whatever you got, all the changes and all that really isn't going to hurt me. I don't think too much. Might hurt the
Right.
battery over time, but it's not going to hurt me. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, with the monster trucks, and what I do, I don't really, and even my crawlers and stuff, I'm not that particular about, a lot of that. The only thing I'm worried about is the C ratings for bashers and certain ones that have more power draw. But
right.
But yeah, definitely a bummer. Had quality products, good people, and so it does stink. Their quad charger is still one of my favorites. But
See, that's what I need. I was just looking at this because you sent me something, and I was like, "Ooh, I could put the sticker on my cup."
ah,
And cover up, it's better than putting something over the
it's the perfect size.
I know. I don't think my wife would be too happy with that, but whatever.
Matthew McDowell.
But what was I forgot what I was even saying right before I got sidetracked on that old man brain. But
Quad 4 battery
oh
charger.
yeah. So that's my problem, right? So for instance, we went and raced this last weekend. We had 5 classes that we were racing between me and my son, and next month I think we're going to be in 6 or 7. And so they're different batteries for different trucks, all that kind of stuff. And charging those batteries, I have to start like Thursday night charging batteries before I can get them all charged, because each class has at least 2 quals, maybe a B main, or just straight to the A main. So minimum of 3 runs. And that's a lot of batteries. So I'm looking at 15 batteries, just taking them just for fun.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and so then the flip side of that is why I like the smart batteries, because if I don't use all those batteries,
I know.
I put them back in my bat safe and they drain.
See,
So that was part of what pulled me in some ways out of, because I was pretty much exclusively would only run the Venom batteries, and then I started seeing this technology. I'm like, man, I gotta try that. Like,
yeah.
And even though now I gotta buy batteries and all that, it was like so worth it in order to not have to worry about like what the batteries, how many of them were sitting charged in that basically ticking time bomb in the garage. So
I know. That's I get worried about that a lot because we travel with our cars and do all that kind of thing. So we charge them up, and then we ended up not, like you said, you'll go on a road trip, and then you're like, ah, we didn't get a chance to stop and play, and then all of a sudden you're like sitting on 6 batteries to have a full charge. What do I do?
Yep.
So my
When even
chargers
like
are
the minis now have it, right? So they have different type of connectors. You have like the JST PH
right.
2.0, which is different. Like just give it a different name. Like when it's that close,
I know.
okay, now it's a JST PH 2.0, which is different than, and then you've got like 2-pin versions of that and 3 pins, and it's just like, oh
Yep.
my goodness, just give them each their own name
I
to make
know.
it easy on us.
I know.
Um,
Do you get freaked out when you pull out the battery leads on those batteries that the leads just pop out? I don't know why, but I get freaked out with that. Like I'm around like voltage all the time with work, and I still get freaked out. Like, oh, am I going to touch it? And like, I don't know why.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
the bullet connector ones.
yeah,
I like them
that's
because they're really easy to change out and just have multiple, and you don't need adapters then. You just have different bullet connectors to a lead.
right, right.
Or you just plug a bullet connector direct in and have it from your ESC that way. So,
Yep.
but yeah. Anyway, so that was some of the news. A little bit of a bummer. Did you get your package of stuff? We
I did.
had a really cool bonus. We reached out to Furitech
Yep.
and said, "Hey, here's what we're doing. We'd love to use, because they have coming. It's not even out yet. If you go to their website, it's pre-order, but they have a mount that goes into the RGT and the
Atlas.
Element RC and all
Yeah.
that, and Atlas that fits right into the chassis. It says pre-order on their website, but it's a whole thing with the transmission and the Komodo is how they sell it on their website. So we just got the plate and their transmission because we were doing some other stuff, and they sent us the Lizard Pro.
Right. Here's the this little trans man is like so pretty. Right? It's like when you start seeing this stuff that's like machined. Sorry,
Yeah.
I busted my knife. And you start seeing the machine stuff, and you're like, man, that like I don't think people realize how much work goes into getting something like that. I mean, you can't see on my camera because my good camera's not wanting to talk to the computer right now. But this is such a nice little piece of machinery. I mean, the little, it's so nice. And it even feels good. Like you can almost hear it. Oh, so
It's
nice.
very smooth, the transmission itself.
Yeah.
So I've actually gone ahead. I've got mine installed
Nice
in here, and it just what they've done is they just made a plate because the way that these links set up are way different.
Right.
But it allows you to run basically a SCX 24 style transmission if you get this plate. So I don't know if they're going to sell the plate on its own or not, or if it's only going to come in the combo for the Komodo, but it's pretty awesome.
Yep. That's very beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah, that's the plate. I should say, though, I did get my ECB gasser kit in the mail.
Oh, nice.
And I put out a video showing some of this stuff. But he has a plate as well in this. If you buy this whole kit, one of the things that you get is he made a plate that allows you to run
either or,
the well, it's still an SCX 24 transmission, but you can mount it so it's either your driveline is centered or off centered, your drive shaft, depending on if you want to add an angle or not, or if you really want that straight drive shaft. So you can flip this around and use either one. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty rad.
His prints are really good too. It's very solid.
I got to order mine. I still this last week I was focusing on getting all the rigs ready for U4, and I totally I didn't even finish one of them, and I was like, I was so bummed about that. But so I was just constantly just going at it, just trying to get those cars ready to go. And one was left behind. We took it, but we didn't get to play with it. So
yep. Lots of comments on the batteries still.
Yeah.
Jeff is saying you just need a faster charger, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So you just have to really amp them up.
Well, I've got one. It's funny. I need to invest in a better charger. Yes. Because I've got that Hexfly one, and I've got the Profit Mini or whatever it is that charges at 4 amps, I think, maybe max. But that's all I got. And I just sit there and I just charge 2 at a time, 3 at a time, whatever I can do. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to get one of those bigger ones. Like High Tech makes a nice one that I saw.
Yeah,
Like,
where you have the external power supply for them.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
And then Reedy
those
makes
will
a
crank
nice
them
one
out.
too. Yeah, and Reedy makes a nice one too. And the biggest thing is I just want one. I don't mind putting it on there and letting it discharge, but none of my chargers have a discharge setting on it, which is bizarre.
Oh,
And
it
so,
also gets them hot, and I hear it wears them out faster. I don't know the truth of it, but I hear it burns them out. I know that you can get those lipo checkers, and some of those have a balance mode or a storage mode button on it that just basically does a blinking light
really,
and puts it into storage mode. I've done that. A Venom had one, and when you'd finish, the whole screen would be black, like the ink, the LED or whatever the ink display they had in there, the e-ink, with the whole thing would just be black. It
yeah.
gets so hot. But then if you let it cool off for like hours, it would go back to normal. It was super sketchy and weird the first time it happened, but um
That's
saying just
funny.
need store your batteries safe and you're good. Well, yeah, and part of storing them safe is not storing them fully
Charged.
charged.
Yeah. I know. I put mine in a, in a very sealed ammo can, but
Yeah.
still, I still feel sketched out about it. Speaking of which, I don't think it was lipo related, but I don't know if you follow the group that I'm on. What's up, Javier says 11 Charlie says what's up. So I don't know if you saw on the Facebook group that I'm on, but at the race, one of the cars went up in flames, big time, torched out in the
Really?
middle. Yeah, and so he said he felt like there was resistance that he was pulling when he was driving, and it sounded weird. And then all of a sudden it just stopped and cooked, and it was like big flames, like melted it all down. It was pretty sad because he just finished this body, and it was one of those things where he put a lot of work into it. He was
Oh,
like, he was like, that was $100 body right there, and as a roadster body or
and
whatever.
time.
Oh, bro, it was gorgeous. And so our group is going to put together a fundraiser to get him a new rig. So he,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty epic. It was kind of sad, at the same time, but it's like, what do you do? So I actually had to I was on the stand racing in the race, and then we finished and he was behind people. So he smoked out right after we finished. And then I had to run out to the trailer and get my extinguisher and run back to put it out. And it was, but yeah, I mean, it was a good 2 foot tall flame shooting out.
Dang.
It's impressive. So, but
I haven't seen one go up in person yet. We've shot them and stuff, and they just smoked.
yeah,
Haven't had the flames yet. Full
yeah.
Gear RC joined. Welcome, man. He says his Venom Charger is a collectible now.
eBay, get that
Yeah.
money. No,
There's
just
as
kidding.
long as they run, man, don't matter if it's collectible or not, if it's charging batteries.
Yep. Speaking of which, so my Nomad that we've been racing, I noticed there's a little crack on the C hub and on the carrier, and I was like, it was enough that it was kind of flexing. So I threw some glue in there, and then I put some tape over it and glued up all the tape. It held for 3 races, but then I started looking at trying to find that part. Cannot find that part
Speaking of collectibles.
anywhere, and I'm
Oh
like,
no.
yeah, and I mean it's held together, like knock on wood,
3D
right?
print that thing, man. You gotta get a
Oh, it's not. I mean, that car. So that's not a 3D printed part. I don't think that's a part that I'm gonna have to
machine.
hand. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hand make that part. Like it's gonna suck when I have to do it, but it's gonna have to happen. And I talked to Associated, and they said that at one time they think they made aluminum ones, and I'm like, well, show me the holy
What you need to
grail.
do is you need to start calling local hobby shops that
Yeah,
carry associated stuff and see if any still have parts for those
yeah.
and try and buy up the bin.
I know, right? Well, this thing's pretty much it's a good tank, and they still have parts online on the Associated site. They still have a lot of parts. They just don't have those parts.
Yeah, because that's a C hub.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like,
those things go. Like you break
yeah,
those. It's a so
yep,
people have either stocked up on them or they've broken and sold more than other parts.
yep. And I did it, and I saw that I got pointed to a Facebook group. I'm not a Facebook guy, so I was like, am I asking this right to join? Like, and I hope I didn't blow them up like 10 times, seeing if it'll happen. But I'm waiting for my invitation in so I can be like, where do I find these? Who's machining them? All that kind of stuff. So,
Casey is the one. I think his was the Instagram video doing the donuts like crazy, super fast. He says he might be out of the Enduro 24 drag challenge. He ordered an LMT kit when it was on sale for $325.
nice.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I still need to get my hands on one of those. I keep on telling myself that, like, at least the kit, and I can put motor in the kit and just I can say, just so I know, right? Like all the guys that are in the monster trucks have one now. I don't have one. It took me 30 years to get a clodbuster. I got one for Christmas 2 years ago. So, but yeah, man, it's like, geez, I need
Black
something
Market
like
RC says get him a part number. His local hobby shop has a bunch of old stuff. Yeah.
that.
I'll check mine too, because they've got different things as well.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a part number on DMs later, man. Because I looked up that part number. I went even to like the Energy website, and they had them, but they don't have them in stock anymore. And I'm like, they had them in aluminum, right? So it's like that's what I would do is I would just buy
eBay and everything.
eBay and everything, man. I was like, seriously, nowhere.
You know who probably has them? Active Power Sports.
Active Power Sports.
Yeah.
Where's that out of?
I don't know. I just know that they have everything in stock, but when you go to order it,
it's not in there.
It's out of stock. But they don't tell you that, and they keep your money until it comes in.
That's funny. That's too bad.
It's one of those resellers, and
yeah,
that happened to me with the HD diff gears for the SMT10.
Oh,
those went out of stock forever after the SMT10 was kind of hidden for a little while there.
Sure.
Waiting for the renewal of contracts or whatever. And so, I ordered it and I'm like, I finally where is that part? And I go there and I finally start messaging them and they're like, oh, well, we don't have it yet, but we'll ship it as soon as we get it. I'm like, the only reason I sent you guys my money was because you said you had it. Nobody else had it. I would have just got it somewhere else. But yeah, I still see them doing that stuff. I was looking for those HPI wheels for this. And they have them listed. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you don't have them. But
yeah, I saw that HPI car is at one of the local hobby shops that we go to.
The little RS4?
Yeah. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if they have the tires there. But I was racing, so mine was on other stuff.
Yeah. So this, I'm trying not to, like, this is my last resort bin right here.
Your last resort, as in that's
like if I need a help.
That's your easy button resort.
This is my easy button. I have it here. So the cool thing is his rear. I was trying to figure out how it all went. This is the rear plate. Mm-hmm. And it just literally you screw it directly to your axle. So there's no suspension in the rear.
Right.
Just boom, lock it down, get it as low as possible. The front has a little suspension, but that's it.
Well, I sent you that link to that guy that was doing the dragsters like before this started. And his are clearly like science experiments, right? They're like freak monster cars. But man, it looked like he had some power going through his. And I don't know what axles he was using though, but it's we know that I don't remember. It's like Rocket RC or something like that, or Rocket Man RC on YouTube. Remember we were looking at that and he had the long dragster.
Oh, with the foam tires on it. He did the 18 scale tires.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he had the other one that had the crawler tires on it and they just ballooned up super skinny.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a cool build because he did direct drive from the motor.
Yep.
And it was like a 380 or something brushed.
Yeah. And it still looked like a lot of power.
Yeah, it was a lot of power.
Yeah. So there's hope out there.
And I think he was running the slot car wheels, right? 18 scale slot car or something like that. I saw him at my hobby shop after the video and I was like,
Yeah, I saw one that was doing that with the front wheels, but the ones that I saw he had were like foam ones, or he had the ones that were just crawler wheels
Okay. Oh,
entirely.
you know what I saw was no, that's I'm thinking something else. I think it was an RC car, 18 scale,
Uh,
that they had the drag wheels and all that for.
this one, remember, this one was like, it was super stretched out, super long, looked like Top Fuel style. And then he put it on the dyno, the Tamiya dyno,
Yep.
and he was running that, which seems super sketchy to get your fingers that close to something going that, chewing up that hardcore. So
Right.
it's like, ooh, no, thank you.
Uncle Lee Bulgier says that he also ordered from Active Power Sport,
Yeah.
and so did Casey. It sounds like. Um, but Bulgier says he's seen a 65-mile-per-hour, 124 scale drag car. Maybe the
Maybe.
same channel. I don't know that he was doing. Did he do speed tests? I don't remember seeing
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, he was doing it, but it was very short distance.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it looked like he was maybe going 20 feet, and it got me
Right.
thinking, like, he could barely
You
hold
don't
it
have to go
together.
90.
No, no, no. Like, oh yeah, it
And
was
actually,
very
we didn't put in the rules, and we should have, is that you have to end on your wheels, right?
right.
Like no rolls, right? It should
Yeah,
be a clean
a clean pass.
pass, no
Yeah,
crashing.
that's gonna be a real hard, like, after seeing that guy put that much power down and not go straight. Like, we've seen a lot of people comment about going straight, and that's gonna be hard. That's
Well,
gonna
that's
be
why we
hard.
put that width in there.
I don't think it matters. I think with enough power, it's gonna be really hard to stay straight.
Right, which
Super
means
hard.
like you have to what's the fastest you can go under power under control?
Right.
That's what we're trying to figure
Well,
out.
the nice thing about the 90 feet, though, like, if we see that you could get up that fast in 20 feet, you can roll your start
Yep.
and get trimmed out and then go.
Yep.
So maybe that's the key, not hitting it so hard right off. I mean, both of us are probably just going to want to grip it, like, just let it
Because
rip.
it's not about time to the finish. It's about top speed.
Right, right. And that's how Bonneville does it. They get pushed
Yeah.
by a car and then take off, take off, take off, and then boom, they're gone. So yeah, I think that's going to be the trick to all that. So
The
my
front
body's
steering in these, this is true. Casey says it has so much slop, and yes, it does.
yeah,
If you've looked at that steering, that's going to be something to address if you want to go fast with these particular cars.
right.
It is very sloppy.
Did we say it had to have four wheels? I don't know if we did.
I don't think we did.
That's how
There
you
was
cheat.
no rule about how many wheels it had to have.
That's how you cheat in Pinewood Derby, right? You lift
3
up your
wheels?
front, yeah, you lift up one of your wheels just slightly so it's not touching, and then that's how you go. You have a lower coefficient of drag doing that, so only three wheels are touching, but it's
Nice.
still there, but you just lift it just barely. So, yep.
Now you know, people. Got a cheater here. That's what I'm dealing with.
And
That's what I'm dealing with
I'm
here.
gonna I'm gonna call up Mark Rober. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Mark, how are you gonna help me here?
This
We
is
got."
my help. Again, ECB,
Yeah.
but these are Axial. It's a new Axial case for the front, so you can put your steering servo
Oh, nice.
on the front.
That's cool.
So I don't know. It looks like there's 2 of them. I don't think you replace the front and rear. It might just be 2 in here.
That's cool.
But yeah, you replace one of the halves of it. You might have to do both halves. That might be to strengthen it for more to screw in more. I don't know. I'll message him and find out for sure.
Casey says there's many cheaters. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
It's
drag.
not if you're within the rules, is it cheating?
No, not at all. If you're within the rules, you're breaking the limits, is what you're doing.
Yep.
So that's how I look at it anyway. I'm all about that. I'm all about trying to see how I can squeeze everything out of there.
It's all about creativity at that point.
See, I think I hamstrung myself. I made my body just a touch wider than stock width of the whole thing, because I want my tires to tuck up underneath.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna rely on tuning to try to get it to go straight and hook up. I'm not
I
gonna
would let it drag, put Teflon on the bottom, and then you've got like
sponsons on it.
you can see my shock angle. I got creative with this the other night, trying to figure out how I could get it lower.
Now
And
it's gonna be
actually,
like a
I bent the
pre-runner.
chassis. I
There you
tucked it
go.
in and then came back out
Nice.
because the screws for the normally these shock mounts are on the outside of the axle, but I had to tuck them on the inside because I was using the same screw as the forelink, the upper
Mm.
link uses to hold it there. So there's a threaded spot, and then the screw for the back one was hitting the shock, which I probably should have just used because I could have locked it all the way down on that screw.
Yeah.
There were 3 positions it would just totally lock up in, and
Yeah.
completely down was one of them,
Right.
basically on the axle. But I can always rebend it if I need to get
Yeah.
creative. But I'm
There you go.
thinking that I'm going to pinch the back end too, the frame, to keep the suspension still working more. And that's what I'll do with the wheelie bars. I'll just have it narrower where I screw in, and
Mm.
allow it to just pinch these to make sure I do get because when it's this low anyway with the shock angles, you almost have no suspension anyway because the forelink is
Yeah.
kind of your resistance at that point.
Right.
Whereas with the ECB one, I think you just kill your upper links because you don't need them.
Yep. Now I'm not planning on running much, if any, suspension on the rear of mine.
Yeah.
And I'm not designing a wheelie bar for mine either. I don't think I'm going to need it. So I'm going to
But
try
you're going to
to,
be going that slow.
nope. I'm going to be going that straight and hooking up. So
If you're hooking up, your front end's going to want to go.
nah,
Yeah.
it'll be balanced. It's going to be a
Going to have a
rocket.
lot of weight up front.
Maybe. We didn't say how much they had to weigh. So
I would say that the gasser front end is probably not sloppy either because it mounts to the.
yeah.
It's still, I mean, it's just the way that they built these links. I need to see if somebody else has them because it's just.
Well, there's too much on that crossbar too. The steering crossbar.
It's using pillow balls, which is just a sloppy
Yeah.
way there. I think there's
You
a lot
could,
of movement.
if you had skill or technical ability, you could always 3D print a pillow ball that was just a shim, like a bushing.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to figure that out yourself. That might be a tall order for you.
I could just cut styrene though. That's what it comes
Yeah. Hey,
down
well,
to.
yeah, get some
I'll just
Play-Doh.
do it out of thick styrene and cut it.
You're like, I'll just stuff some Play-Doh in there.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I can make stuff too. I can do things.
I can make plastic work.
Earl's right. He says, rules are made for benders of the rules.
Yes.
And new
100%
rules
true.
are made because of benders of the rules.
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah.
So
Bulgar says he doesn't know if he'll make the deadline, but he grabbed some parts from the house before he left. I know it's like 2 weeks, under 2 weeks away, 12
yeah,
days.
I feel like I'm a kid in high school and you just told me that my papers due in like a week, because now I'm like, I don't know if that's really fast. Like that's really fast. It is coming up quick. But you know what would be cool? What date is the date again?
13th.
I have a 24 skill crawl event on the 12th at a hobby town that had a pretty long run of hallway, or not a hallway, but like a thing. Maybe I should just do it there on the 12th.
There you go.
That'd be cool. see how fast
I'm
we
going
can
to
get
be
it
doing
together.
several along the way and just kind of go with whatever my best one was.
Yeah.
Is what it's going to
Yeah.
boil down to. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
get a test out here soon, and hopefully it'll be good enough to count, and I'll try and beat it, but I'm hoping to at least lay down something decent the first run. All
Yeah.
right, comments. Max Paul says, "What are you guys building tomorrow? Are you building anything tomorrow?"
Probably that DR10 kit for myself.
Yeah.
I need to clean my table. My table's a disaster. Absolute disaster right now. But I don't know. I'll probably do the DR10. I don't know if there's anything else. I got to do that. I've got to do the black market chassis in a bad way. Like
Yeah.
I got to get it done. It's just sitting here looking at me, taunting me.
I was thinking that when we were going to get on in the pre-show, I was just going to be like, I can't take any more projects. No more. Stop.
I
No
know.
more video stuff. Like, even this is like, I realized, like, I got to get started. Like, I'm not fast with this stuff. I'm going to need time to mess around, especially if I'm videoing it along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so much harder. I thought that 4 weeks was going to be plenty. Like, oh, we'll
So
just do
did
4
I.
weeks because we have other things going on. We'll just throughout that 4 weeks, we'll knock it out.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fat. What, like 2 weeks are gone, and I didn't do anything except for order parts.
I know. I'm in the same boat. I might actually just go out and get it tomorrow just so I can start tearing it apart and putting it together. My print should be done. Oh, what time should my print be done? I think my print will be done in the morning. Maybe it's been
I need
printing
to take
since
my
yesterday.
PLA over with me today.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully I can get that going.
This is what that's not what the rules say. It's what they don't say, which is like we said. Yeah, I know when we were talking through it, we said that it had to be a clean pass. That was the
Yeah.
whole point, is clean pass within the 90 feet and stop.
Right.
And that was intending that you kept it on all fours. You could leave the ground, but as long as you don't roll, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can get air like some of them do, as long as they land and mellow out without rolling.
B. Kochner, I don't know how to pronounce his name, says video that makes the builds go slow for me. And I totally agree with that. For me, like, I'm set up even to like put my camera down and start videoing, but I feel like it just takes so much longer for me to like
Oh,
push stop. Oh, do it again. Or whatever's going on. And then like I was taking video of for the U419 truck that I have, and I was, just tuning it, basically getting it ready to go for the race. And of course, everything that could possibly happen went wrong while I was videoing it. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a garbage video. No one wants
yeah.
to see that. So I'm like putting on the axle brace and I'm trying to drill through it and it just goes and tacos over. And I'm like, well, now I guess I got to straighten that out before I put it back on. Like, it's just one of those nights. I had like 2 nights last week where nothing worked, like nothing. I was like, I'd strip out a screw, I would break something as I was putting it on, and like 2 nights I just walked away. I was just like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Yeah.
And then of course I didn't work on things consistently enough, so I was up late the last 2 nights before racing, too late. So
Yeah.
that didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, Psycho Garage says maybe extend the deadline. I think if we're not going to make it, we might have to, but I'd like to see if we can do it, because we've told other people
Yeah, we'll
the
make it.
deadline. But if nobody's getting into it, then we can definitely do it if we're not getting the emails. But
Yeah.
Cycle 13 Garage, Dirk says, I know I'll run out of time for parts to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool to see where it can go even after it's done. Like, how fast can we make it?
Yeah. And just as a reminder to everyone that's going to be posting up, test runs and all that kind of stuff, if they're on Instagram, tag us on Instagram for sure, because we'll share them. We'll share your test runs. We'll share whatever you're building, all that kind of stuff. I'm all about posting those up, especially getting closer to the end line or to the end zone there. If we start doing that, then people will get hyped up. And I mean, let's be honest, these things really don't take too long to to build, right? It's just procuring all the parts and getting the idea. Once you do that, then it's just going to be kind of off to the races, as they say.
Yeah. B. Koshner's right. He's got a couple of them that are spot on. Videoing makes it go slow for me. He said before that, he'd said, I have no time for other new builds. But then he said at the end, sometimes the videoing just makes me not want to sit down and start. I may do a few off video builds and just show the end results just to get caught up.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I almost did that for this build because it, especially ones when you don't know what you're doing, like you're just kind of trying things.
Yeah.
Which is what I was doing last night, really late into the night. No. Yes, last night.
No. Yes.
Yes, last night. I can remember it was Sunday night and I just edited it yesterday night. No, I shot it last night and everything. But yeah, you don't even want to. Nowadays, I just kind of just put my phone there instead of the other cameras because I can just reach over and stop it a lot easier.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm not going to show this part till I figure it out.
Yep.
And sometimes I won't even use it. I'll just go back and I'll do the thing where I'm holding it, talking about it, and I'll just show the footage of it, like where I'm taking that part up.
Yeah.
Part that I'm mentioning having done and, taking it apart. Then I'll cut that footage in as B-roll.
Right.
There's all different ways, but it definitely slows it down and it definitely makes you not want to do it. Like,
well, yeah. And then
the build, especially.
Yeah. And then the other hard part is you get a bunch of this, B-roll or a video that's like not bad, but not good, not very compelling. And then like you and I have talked about 10 times over, if you don't post it or do something with it right off the bat, it's lost.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's killing me. I have so much right now that I'm like, I just need to get it out there. From when I went out to Eastern Washington, that really cool desert area, I have like an hour of footage that I can cut into, 15 Instagram videos or whatever, or 15 YouTube videos, little short 2-minute videos that are like, they'd be good to just, fill it up, but I just don't have the time to go through and chop it up and rewatch it, cause I don't remember what I did anymore. Like, unless, like you said, unless you do it that day, that night, you won't remember where you were at the time.
Well, I did one with that Kyosho charger, putting in the servo, and that video would have been like one of the most frustrating videos to watch because I tried 5 servos and I still, until I pulled the reefs off of one of my other trucks, none of them fit.
Right. It would have been
so
like,
I kept on doing it. And it's like,
it would have been like a horror movie, just getting mad at it.
Yeah. And by the time I was done, like I wasn't filming anymore. And but somebody asked me the other day, like, I went through all your videos because I did what you just did, which was build that micro crawler course. And I did a build and it was part 1.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
There's no part 2.
Yeah. Dude, I have all the video of me making the one where the car bodies are cast into the mountain. I have all that on video.
Yeah.
I have not put it down. I haven't laid it down yet. And it drove me crazy because I rearranged it in the garage. And I was like, hey, I have all this on video. I could make a quick 2-minute video if I wanted to. And nope. And I always tell myself, I'll just put it back in the bank. So when I'm just, starving on content or whatever, I can just go back to that and throw it up. And it's like,
yeah, but when you go back to it, you have to watch it all again because you have no idea.
Yeah.
What, like, so because when there's mistakes, especially if you want to get through it fast, you have to edit it right away because you're going to forget where the mistakes were.
Yep.
And you're going to have to watch it so closely. Like most of them now, it's bad, but like I don't even like fully watch the video all the way. I watch it in like fast forward.
I get so scared of that because I'm like, what are my kids saying? Like what's going on in the back? Like, especially like, so I have some footage from the races, and like, I don't know what's going on in the background. Someone yelling, profanity.
Oh yeah. I've cut audio and stuff, at our crawler course, our ones there when I let the audio run. So I do some of them as raw now because people want to see the full length of the whole run, which is long. It's not compelling, but it's, people want to see how they perform. So, but yeah, there's definitely, I drop the audio out in spots of it just to keep it.
Yeah. And see that alone, you have to go through all that just to do it. You know what I mean? And
Oh
cutting
yeah,
audio.
you have to sit through those. But if it's just me doing a build,
Yeah,
I just watch it and fast forward, and I hope I
sure.
don't mess up when I'm editing because like today's was 30 minutes, and guess what? I did not have 30 minutes at 5 o'clock to go back and watch it because
Right.
with all this Ukraine stuff happening, I have been slamming busy with editing
Oh,
projects and all this
yeah.
extra stuff. And
State of the Union today.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
So,
that was
um,
interesting.
but yeah, so I've been editing that stuff like hard and trying to make deadlines with it, and then all this stuff on top of it. And we went to Monster Jam, and um, the orders that are coming in for jumps and having to go through all of that stuff, and
Right.
you know, it's a
Yeah, and
nightmare. Then I just got these in,
I was just gonna
and
say you got your new brass stuff that looks
I had to
dope.
put these all on the website. So I got brass knuckles and diff covers, and then I've got the Surpass 7500 and 9500 kV motors for sale on my website now.
Oh, nice.
Um,
So now you're saying I should buy that motor and beat you with the motor that I bought from you?
right.
Be like, Tony,
So
I need it overnight. I'm gonna do this amazing run.
yeah. So yeah, I've got that stuff. These are the diff covers, and they're
Yeah,
black. I like the black ones.
way
They can
better.
have the little chamfered edge or whatever, where it's got the
Yeah,
little brass showing.
yeah.
It looks nice. But um, these actually were test ones that I got, and there's actually going to be one. Hopefully, they can get my logo on here. I'm waiting to see the test lasering, because that's what I really want are the logoed ones.
That would be
So
sick. That would be so awesome.
I'm not going to logo everything. I think that companies over logo their stuff. It's just like photographers that put watermarks on everything that they do.
I hope my mom's not listening. Mom, that's you.
Oh,
She burned it into my sister's head that you had to watermark every image. I'm like, guess what? It's on the internet. Like,
you crop it off. They're just
I
going to
know,
crop it anyway. You're
I
just
know,
ruining your image. Like, cause your eye
I
goes
know.
like if there's
Yeah,
a watermark there, your eye goes,
yeah,
it doesn't look at the image.
yeah. Unless you're
As
selling
a
your
photographer,
NFTs.
like being in the professional industry of it for a while, doing all the I hated it.
I know, I
So,
know.
I
I'm the
get
same way.
certain things for companies and their products. That's different when it's product
Yeah,
photography and you
sure.
have it's all about the brand name.
Right.
But man, like, ooh, it's tough.
I know.
And
I
I don't
know.
know why did we go there? What was I talking about?
Talking about
Oh
putting your
yeah,
name
like
on the
I
brass.
don't want to see people's names all over my links, and especially like those Trio wheels. Like you see their
Yeah,
logo going around because it's that little square cut out of the all chrome like ring, and then it's like boom,
yeah,
black little square, and I'm like, ugh.
yep, yeah.
But I thought like if you do it right on that front cap there, I like
I
that.
think that's okay, and I think, to be honest, I think your logo would go fine in that pumpkin cap because it kinda would look like it's dimensional.
Poison spider or like meant to go
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think he would. I think that would be building brand recognition just by visual cue,
And the
not
whole
by
point is for the
name.
people that want to have it there, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's why those would and I'm not the rest of the stuff I'm not gonna like knuckles, it's pointless to logo it. You don't see it.
No.
So
Yeah. No, and I agree. But I'm definitely, like I said before, I'm gonna come for those logoed ones for sure because I think that would be cool.
I
I'd
can't
I'd
wait.
be I'd be all for that.
My bank account hates me
I know,
because you
I
you
know.
can't get logoed stuff with a small order.
Nope. Nope.
If you want them to do the whole lasering stuff, you got to pay up.
Yep. Speaking of bank account and buying another car, so I got that Pro 4, the
Yep.
SE10. Bro, that car, when I changed the tires on it, and I can't talk badly about the tires just from what I've heard on the tires before. I just changed it. I changed them to be in the spec anyway for the race that I was doing. And dude, that car is wicked fast and it handled really good. I mean, I'm not an experienced U4 racer by any means. I mean, I've been around there, but that thing was ripping around the track, and I got podium on it, man. It
Yeah.
was
First time.
first time. Took it out of the box Friday night, put the tires on, put a battery in it for the very first time, powered it on, and drove it to the drove it from the pit stand to the track, and then went through the heats and took third. So I was like, hey, I'll take it. So, but that thing's wicked cool. I
It
can't wait to
looks wicked.
well, I'm gonna take the body off and make a cage for it so it's weighted a little bit more to the front, because that thing with the body parachutes. I mean,
Yeah.
it just I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna send it. Like, it's the first time I got it. I'm just gonna send it. And I was sending it, and it was like not very tame in the air at all, like not very tame, but it was the body catching the wind and stuff. So I was like, I'll give it a pass. But if I put that metal body on it, the chassis on it that I want to build, I think that thing's just gonna like stay low, stay fast. Oh, I'm super pumped for that one. So Max Paul's saying something about the Panda Hobbies portal thing.
Yeah. He should ask Bull Gear what he thinks of it. I drove Bull Gears and I wasn't very impressed. I felt like my SCX 24 without portals did just as good. Like I didn't feel what it bought me.
Yeah, I don't. Jury's out for me on portals in general. Like, I don't care about it for scale looks or anything like that. I don't know that they have really, because I've had the Gen 8s have portals, and
Yep.
so that was kind of one of our first entry in, and I don't think that they really gave me a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, aside from before they fixed the axle, the CVA axle in there, before it was because they didn't have a high, like an HD or whatever.
Yeah.
I was snapping those because I was putting too much power into them. But I don't know. I think the only advantage to having portals, if they're done, I want to say right, because I don't have the answers to these, but if it just reduces the gearing a little bit more, that would be the only advantage to me for portals. But
Yep. Get that really slow creep.
yeah, but I mean, for the actual like getting over stuff, I guess, but just
Yeah.
take a different line. You know what I mean? Like, go slower.
Yeah. I guess when you're doing the comps and they force the lines, I could see where it would be, but still, I just put the taller tires on from RC 4-wheel drive,
Yeah.
and that gave me so much clearance that I've been
Did you
pretty good.
did you
Earl's
see
saying
that?
that he has so many parts, like for his builds that we were talking about with the videoing. You don't know where you're going with things at sometimes, and
Yeah.
him and Bulgier are talking about, yeah, I go home and sort through parts and find stuff I forgot I even had. That
Oh,
happens to me too, where it's like, it's not even that I forget that I have it, but I bought it to do something. Like I know I need to fix this car. I buy it. Then I go to
yeah.
fix the car. And I can't find it and I have to order it again.
Dude, I remember when I first started watching your videos, and I was like, come on, man. You really have like two ESCs that you just found, like, or whatever it was that you had. And it's like, and now I get it. Like, now I'm at that point where I'm doing those builds, and I just happen to have a brand new Sidewinder in my drawer here, and I haven't used it yet. And I had plans for it. Now I don't. Like, it's
Yep.
like, I get it now. And it's funny because you look around and it's like, ugh, you look at your 4 servos that you have sitting on the table here, and you're like, that adds up to a whole new build there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gets kind of dicey sometimes when you start thinking of it that way. But it's nice. I'm a builder, so for me, I find parts that I haven't used or parts that I used, and then I repurpose them or do
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like, okay, that makes a lot more sense for me.
Chris
So
is from RC for All says the TA truck is awesome, the team associated one.
the one
He
that
also
I'm
says you
running.
can drill holes in the body
Oh
to
yeah.
help with the air stuff. Some places allow it and some don't. It all
Well,
depends on the rules.
so for me, I bought it as a U4 IRS truck, meaning independent. It's an independent suspension class. Technically, you're supposed to have a driver and a cage on the car, so you could run the short course body with clear windows and put a faux cage and a driver in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
Kind of like the Mojave.
yep, and they're open, so it's an open class, so you can do whatever you want. So, but yeah, you could totally do that, and I think it would be fine. I totally think it would be fine because that thing. Oh, dude, I got to show you some of the pictures next time, and that thing just was tearing it up. Super excited about it. But what was the other thing I was going to say about that weekend of racing? So my son started racing his SMT 10 in the 2.2 solid class, and it wasn't really set up for it, but we just set it, changed the tires to 2.2 tires, crawler tires, and wheels. And it went all right. I think we're going to have to do some dialing it. It was bouncing a lot. It was weird. I didn't think, like, the suspension was super soft with monster truck tires, and then putting on crawler tires, it was just bouncing all over the place. I was like, what is going on here? So I'm going to have to tune that up and let him rip that around. But that was the thing I was going to talk about, because they brought up the Team Associated truck. Huna truck's right around the corner.
They're out. People are getting them.
I know.
The people that pre-ordered them or something are getting it.
Yep.
Because I just saw that Roadside RC had one too.
Oh, really?
Come in.
Nice.
So I've seen 2 of them in the wild as far as videos.
I could have pre-ordered mine, and I just didn't, because I just pulled the trigger on that Pro 4. So we'll see.
I've been trying to slow, well, partly because I spent my money on parts to sell.
Right.
But yeah, I've been trying to wean where I can, and I know I've got this build off, so I'm trying to, I'm saying, like, I'm not buying as much, but then all of a sudden I go buy the ECB thing and the HPI, and all this stuff starts coming in the mail. I'm like, oh crap.
Well, it's funny because you were
like it's little, like $10 here, $15 there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Before you know it, you've spent $300 that month on little things. The month you were trying not to, buy a full RC or something.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny because I remember, I don't know if it was around Christmas time or fall, when you were talking about buying less and building more, kind of a thing, or maybe that was even spring last year. I don't remember, but how'd that go for you?
Well, I have been building more.
Yeah,
I've been building a ton of these minis.
Yeah.
So there's that, but I've had to buy minis to start with. I haven't bought every new car that comes out like that. The new Team Associated monster truck really,
I know,
really made me want to buy
the MT8. Yeah.
And then that Savage came out, and I really wanted to buy that, and I didn't.
Yeah. That MT8 should be pretty wicked. And here's the thing about that MT8 that I started kind of digging around a little bit. It looks like the Nomad, but with upgraded knuckles. So it's got pillow balls on it, and but everything else, it's got the same motor and everything as the Nomad. And I was like, I see what they did here, because it went away for a while, right? And maybe they just repurposed. I mean, it's a new platform, but I think it's close enough that it's like inspired pedigree by the Nomad, perhaps. Because at first I thought it was the Pro 4, and I think the MT10 was is similar to the Pro 4, but the
MT10 was awesome.
Yeah, and that's got the same
durable little truck.
Yeah, and it's got the 35, I think, or the 3200, whatever it is, the same thing that's in the Pro 4. But that's what I noticed. The big difference was for the MT8, it's got the same motor as the Nomad does. Is it 2100 or 2200? The bigger can, 8-scale motor. So that thing should rip, dude. And I think they rated that at 6S, which is bananas. I'm not sure. I'd have to check that out.
Cody Vandenberg just says Axial Fest Badlands. I'm hoping to go. It's close enough now. I'd drive down for a day and drive home, but I hope not to. I hope to stay there.
What about the I saw the ad already for the Horizon Fest in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to go to that this year?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I would like to go to that one purely because I've flown over those states, but I've never been to those states. And I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Very flat.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
Yeah. When you come from that little airport there and you drive and it's taking you, you're like, am I supposed to be on this road? Like, you feel like you're on somebody's private, like, little farm road. Like, they've got the tractors that take up both lanes, and you're just like, do I drive underneath it? Like, I could fit under that.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
How far is it from the airport?
20 minutes,
Oh, that's
30
not too bad.
minutes.
That's
Yeah,
not
and
too
there's a
bad.
hotel literally right on the grounds of the Eli Field.
Oh, nice.
So it's like you have to take the little service road back there. It's maybe a mile
Yeah.
down this little service road back into the farm area with it.
Yeah.
You basically pass um, a little, I think it's a daycare. You go over little railroad tracks, like a little railroad museum thing, and then you're at this, big hangar thing for flying RC planes. So
That's cool.
it's
I
pretty cool.
I've
And they're gonna
never
race the monster trucks again, and
yeah, I've
uh,
never been to an event like that. We have an event here. I mean, it's not nearly that type of thing, but we have an event called Warrior Weekend, which is mainly crawling in U4. Um, but it would be cool to go to an event like that or a Pro Line by the Fire or Axial Fest. There's Dead Man's Crawl, which is more of an element deal, and that's down in SoCal. Definitely would love to go to those things, but it's tough because it's like, how do you? For me, I'm always trying to piggyback family stuff on things like that, and it's like, hey, let's go to the middle of nowhere to go RCing and bring the whole family. And sorry, you got nothing else to do. So, so but we'll see. Did you see what Max Paul asked about the ground pounder? Still worth anything for noobs? It's in stock now. Last
I
time I
think
looked.
so. I mean, for the price, 4 steer, they're
I don't.
fun. They're
I
just
don't.
not. They're just not as capable as an SMT10, and you can't really build it as easily as an SMT10.
Yeah,
So for $300 to $300, I would say get the SMT10 personally, but
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I don't know why they haven't upgraded it yet. Like they've got the Wendigo and other axles to work with, but
Those window go axles have been out of stock for like a year and a half. I don't know if they're ever coming back in. I've emailed them about it because I
but
want those
didn't they just
axles.
use that for their other build, the 8 scale
Yeah, but you can't
Jeep?
buy. So they used to sell them in a kit,
Uh
and now you can't buy a kit. You have to buy the whole truck or the builder's kit, and it's like like if because if they came back in stock, I would buy two sets all day. Those
yeah.
Wendigo axles are bulletproof. The only bad thing is they're locked. There's no diff in them,
Yeah, and
and
so that's for
so
the aftermarket people to jump on, but it's just hard when you're not sure if it's gonna stick around and,
yeah. Well, and
as far as
that's like the weird thing with Element, right? So like with
yeah.
Element, there's
But people
no
they've grabbed onto that because there's enough I think there's enough pull from the people that are there that people get into it. I mean, Night Customs is building tons of stuff for them. You've got a bunch of other
yeah.
aftermarkets,
Well, yeah,
SSD.
but it's weird. There's certain parts that they're not taking advantage of. I've not seen an aluminum or a brass axle housing, and
Yeah,
that would be very nice, to
but
have
you
them.
don't need it. I don't think you need it. It doesn't slide well. They've got those
Well,
brass hubs that bolt onto those things.
yeah. Well, I don't. Okay, so aluminum for me wouldn't be for the heavy crawlability. It would be for the U4 type racing, the bashability of it. That's what I
Uh-huh.
would use it for. So,
Yeah.
in that sense, that and then the diffs. The diffs are they're not much different than the AR44s. I think it is the Axial a diff, but no one's made an open diff for that. And it's like,
Chainsaw says Wendigo axle kits on eBay right now.
oh, yeah, I haven't looked on eBay. I've just went to Red Cat.
So quickly, Earl says that he wanted the new DBX LE2 gas, but the price got him $1,400.
Ooh,
It's steep when you're looking at cars,
that's a
and when
MacBook.
you buy as many as he does, that's tough. And I
And
agree with RC for all. I don't kind of get this. RC Fest and Axial Fest Badlands are so close together. They're both in June.
oh wow,
It's like June 10th and 11th for Horizon RC Fest, and then the other one is like June 20th,
yeah,
20 something, 26th. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it's like 2 weeks away.
yeah.
at Badlands. So it's a lot for people to have to pay out if they want to do both.
Yep. So
Um,
what's your take going back to that DBXL? Here's the thing with, and I think
that's the gas one.
right, we've talked about these bigger cars before, right? And
Mhm.
we've talked about, for me, it's an accessibility issue,
Yeah,
meaning, like for instance, the Nomad's an 8 scale buggy. I
that's
won't.
very tough.
That's already tough. Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't drive that except for on the track. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and luckily we do have access to, like, it won't even fit on my track. I mean, it's just too big and too fast, right? So
yeah.
like, even so, there's a track down the road for me, but even so, I wouldn't be
Not
out
really
there.
built for it,
The
right?
track down, no, the track down the road for me is
Is it?
it's an 8 scale track, yeah. And
But it's like
so
big jumps and stuff for buggies, right? 8 scale buggy track.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's not super built for it, but they're spaced
Yeah,
out enough where you could backside it if you just took it easy, kind of a thing.
yeah,
And there's a lot of space to open it up, which is nice.
yep.
But that being said, anything bigger than that, which there's plenty of out there that's bigger than this 8 scale buggy out there, I just don't know where I would drive it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
I
it's
I love them, but I've been blessed the last couple of years to have acres to run them on.
sure.
So I love the big trucks. Um, Storing them when you get multiples gets tough, but like I really want an X Max again,
Right.
but I went with the Max because I said I would if they made the changes to it, and they did. So I kind of forced myself into having to buy that again, which I love it. It's absolutely the new Max version 2.0 of the Traxxas Max. I think is a killer RC car.
It's a 2 for 1 too.
It's
So
awesome. It's
it's a
expensive, but it's
well,
awesome.
what I mean, it's a 2 for 1. You've got that submarine action on it too. So
Yeah, it does submarine pretty well. Boating
yeah, you're like, I'm,
on road.
you're like, I'm all into the boats now.
Yeah. So
So
Wendigo, that's cool. Do you have to pay to camp at Axial Fest? Never been. Yes, it's a regular campground. That's not associated with it, but it's literally right on the grounds. It's cool. I really want to go to the West Coast Axial Fest this year, so I might potentially, if that was the case, I might skip the other one
yeah,
in order to go to
I I would love to go to that
Cali.
also. I have the only Axial I have, I guess, are the SMT 10s.
That would be problematic.
Yeah.
Pro line by the fire for you, baby.
Yep. Proline by the Fire and Dead Man's Crawl. Those are the
Which
two
I
that
hear
I
is
can think of.
awesome too. So I planned
Yes.
to go the year that COVID hit. I had so much. I was traveling like crazy back then, and I'm hoping I don't have to travel like that moving forward. And well, I'll tell you, like my end game these days is to try and do this RC thing as full time as I can.
Yeah.
Um, so I know that what I do now currently, I have the potential to travel still internationally on a moment's notice. I haven't had to because of COVID. Nobody
Sure.
wants us. So, um, but like, I don't really want to travel at this point. Like, I've done it and I've done it for 15 years. And, like, yeah, it's cool. But once you've done it, it's just another hotel room. And,
Yep.
you know, and my kids are getting older. And then, like, it definitely would hurt the YouTube channel to be gone for 2 weeks at a time. So,
Right. Right.
kind of like, that's why I'm trying to figure out what I can do for other things like selling parts or, other little things around it. And, because I have to give up in order to do that. I can't use all my money that like I've been doing. Like, say I make, 1,200 bucks on YouTube.
Right.
Um, and then all the other things that make money, affiliate stuff,
Sure.
Instagram now makes money. And, um, but like most of that, I just spend. Like
Right. Right.
I
Right.
just buy RC stuff. And if it becomes a job, then that limits how much I can just buy things because it has to be income
And
instead of expendable money. And
it's
that's
a
where it's tough.
and I think it's a fine line because anytime you start, I mean, I love what I do at work, but it's still work, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still, I create every day. I'm designing, I'm building custom stuff. It's awesome, right? Like people
Yep.
are like, wow, you're doing some cool stuff. It is, but at the end of the day, it's still work. And it's a fine line when you're doing something like what you're doing, because then you don't want it to turn into work, right? Like
Yeah.
that takes kind of the stuff away. One of the things I was going to ask about that, like about traveling. So, like for instance, none of these places that are having these events are really driving distance from me. I
Right.
mean, the California one is, I guess, but that's like a 20-hour drive, and I'm not really down to drive 20 hours for that. But
Which one's 20 hours?
Proline, I think
It's 20
Proline,
hours from you?
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
18, 20 hours, because it's SoCal, and I think it's 18 hours to San Francisco. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's a long ways. Like we've almost got Caribou up here. Not really, but I mean, we're way north. So, but the thing is that I wonder, like, if you were to go to Axial Fest, how would you travel with your cars? I've always wondered about that. Because, do you just
So
pare it down and only take two, or do you just
oh
put them
yeah.
on a
For something like
carry-on?
that, you don't need more than two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you put them
I
on
took
your
a bunch
carry-on?
to Axial Fest and it was just I just hamstrung by them.
Yeah.
All I ran was my Capra and my SCX 10.3.
Yeah.
That's all I ran. Well, no. I also ran my
But you drove there,
rock
right?
bouncer for the racing.
Yeah.
We drove, yeah, we drove the camper down, but I had my
So,
boys ones and all the other ones too. But
right.
when I travel with them, I just throw them under the plane and carry the
I was,
batteries in my backpack and
okay. So you just put them in a suitcase, huh?
yep, hard case
Yeah.
like roller, um,
Right on.
and just put them under, put a lock on it. I mean, I've put more valuable stuff under a plane, and but
Right.
in that case, you just got to hope it shows up. I
Yeah.
guess if it doesn't, I would just go to a store and buy one. Probably if I flew all that way, I'd probably just
Yeah.
go pick up
Oh,
a
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
100%. I thought about that. And I thought about like shipping it to a buddy, but who knows about shipping?
or
Yeah.
I'd just get a 24th scale or something and just play around. But I'd just be hanging out.
Yeah. So,
I always travel with all my camera stuff. That's the hard part.
yes.
That takes a lot of carry-on space.
Right. Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Earl Moorhead says the Raminator is one he wants to own. It's really
Yeah.
impressive to look at. I've seen Thunder RC beating his up already. He's going nuts with it.
Black Market said it's still 300 miles away from San Fran. So yeah, it's quite a ways. What is that? Another 2, 3 hours, probably. So
That's a
that's
haul.
a drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a drive. We went to San Francisco for work a while ago and brought some cars, and we went, and I didn't know at the time that you're not supposed to be crawling in the redwood forest, but we were down in the redwood forest crawling. So
Oop.
got some cool video. So,
Yeah.
got eaten alive by mosquitoes at the time, but
Well,
guess
all
that's karma.
national forests are like no RC, national
Right.
parks and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Boo.
Some state parks allow it, but even that most of the time, no.
Yeah. We haven't had any
Um,
issues with them in the places that we went. Pretty respectful about it, but
yeah. And I think it's just the certain people ruin it just like anything.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So what are you going back to the comp thing?
Which
What are
comp?
you planning for the next 2 weeks? I got to know how hard I got to bring it.
I'm planning on going fast.
Going fast.
And yeah, very fast. Um, well, I am planning on starting with the Atlas, or this Furatech, and seeing how fast I can get that to go as a benchmark. And then while that, I'll probably design a different motor mount for a different motor and see how fast I can make that motor go.
Still through
So,
that transmission,
mm,
maybe, or direct
depends
drive.
depends if the transmission has I think it's got metal gears. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't have metal gears, yeah, I'll probably try direct drive. The biggest thing for me, I have to really pay attention to some weight transfer. I gotta get some weight put in the way or at the right spot that I want. And I think I might need, I don't know, man. I'm looking at some of these and they're saying, 30, 40 miles an hour. And originally I wanted to break 20, but I think if I could break 40 miles an hour, that would be
Oh,
epic.
you're
That
going
would,
for 40?
I want to.
All right, so I got this from
Ooh.
Full Gear. These totally look like they fit within the length requirements for sure. This one.
Yeah.
How sick is that, though? That body is wicked.
Yep. Funny car action right there.
Here's another one.
So hold on.
These look like these are direct. These look like Kyosho setup.
Yeah, direct drive to that goal. Yeah.
Yep.
Old school.
Still super cool. But do you see the title? 65-mile-per-hour passes.
What? Is there video? I don't believe it.
So here's his body mold. So he's
Yeah.
vacuum forming his own bodies for it and everything.
Oh. All right. This
So
post
this
is
is
useless without
Chad
video.
Solsky. But the one that he does it with, so that's all just intro video. This one's really long. This one would not make our rules. Look at deflectors here to push down.
That's
This thing
awesome.
is wicked looking. I'm trying not to play it just to avoid any
Oh, so
copyrights.
I was just going to ask about that. Can you not play it because of that?
65.
Is that kilometers though? Is this in Canada?
That's miles per hour.
All right. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Dang.
I can't read it. It's out of
It's 65.2. Yeah. Wow.
Sheesh. That would be very hard to manage. I am going to subscribe to him right now. Back. He's only got 67 subs. He should
That's
have some
crazy.
more. Look at there it is right there. Look at how long they are.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I dig it.
I dig that.
Chad Solsky. I'll have to look that up after the show. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. I mean,
so you're gonna be working. Well, we said it doesn't say it has to have 4 wheels. Were you thinking about 3 wheels? That would be tough to manage. A trike.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking about it until we said something, and I forgot what we were talking about.
At this speed, I don't think drag is going to be your problem.
No, well, so that's what it was. It was the looseness of the steering, and so I was like, well, if we just put one wheel on there, and then could just pivot that wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going full crank on this, so it's like if we could do that, then we could probably get.
It just needs different steering links is all. I think. Just the setup with the pivot pillow balls is kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
If you just did it where you bolted them down and they had like a bushing in them to spin on,
right,
that would be the way to go.
Those brass bushings that no one ever uses from the servo kits.
Yep.
That
would work. Yeah. I know those. Those would be perfect.
I have like a bowl here full of those little rubber grommet
little
things.
Squares.
Yeah, and it's like one day I'll use these for something. I actually mounted them to a low CG chassis that I started that I feel bad. I never finished building it. It's one of those things, right? Like that's right when I started talking with Associated and I didn't know that they were going to be cool with me building other stuff too. And so I was like, ooh, I had an Axial underneath it. And so I was like, maybe I'll hold off on this. So now I've got axles to put under it that are element, but I put these on it on the shocks where they mount into the frame, wondering if that would give me a little extra flex, like a bushing.
Mm.
And I don't know. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I was like, in theory, it should work, right? Like, maybe.
Yeah, you'll have to watch mine because I have no idea about how the physics of it all work. So it's like I'm just gonna jam these shocks like this because it makes it lower. So if it works good, it's all out of luck. That's basically it. I'm not doing it for any type of reason of
No science
the
fair
shock.
stuff.
What?
No science fair stuff.
Nah, no science stuff here about the shocks. All I
Yeah.
know is I'm messing all the angles up. And like I said, I ran into it when like my shocks were bending in the middle from that screw. And I'm like, well, crap. Then I realized, hey, these are just flat rails. I'm just gonna bend it.
Yeah. Yep.
So it worked. But
That's
I've
funny.
got to get power to mine, and I've got that motor, but I've got to cut the wires off, solder JST plug on it so that it'll plug directly into the Lizard ESC.
Oh, right.
Makes it easy. I
That
just
one
take the
doesn't have
three
the
wire.
bullet? Does that one come with the bullet adapter? I
The
don't think
what?
it does. The Lizard?
No, they use a JST.
Well, my
You can
first
get
one,
a JST to bullets.
yeah, because my last one had the bullets.
This doesn't come with it, I don't think.
The Tegu, I think,
Yep.
came with the JST that went out to 3 bullets on it or whatever.
Yep.
And but
And
for
then
the
their
motor.
momentum is just 3 wires hardwired to it to solder to whatever motor directly to the motor.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's why I did it for one of my for the Surpass ones, because I just had the tabs on that motor and I just soldered it right from the
Nice.
momentum right onto the motor. Made it very clean that way.
Is
So yeah, I
that
got to figure that kind of stuff out. And I left the stock tires on because I want to do a test to show the difference between stock motor and then with this one, what the wheels do and the tires.
oh, dude, those wheels are just gonna
I think they're
pizza.
gonna pizza cutter like crazy. That
Oh, yeah.
12,000 should be insane.
Well, and there's no foams in those tires.
No, no, they're super soft.
Yeah. There's no foams in them at all, man. They're just
So
gonna
I also need to find a new receiver. I was told that there's one. I have the link to it somewhere on Amazon. That's like $15 for a receiver. It's like
for what brand?
Tenergy or something, maybe Tenergy, and it works with the radio that came with these elements.
Really?
Yeah, he says he just turned it on and it bound right up.
Huh. I know FlySky has a micro receiver that works. Well, but you have to have the FlySky transmitter, but
Right.
it's super small. It's basically a board with the
Yeah.
with the prongs on it.
Yep.
And that one I thought about getting because I run FlySky for my radio. But yeah, I didn't that's a whole other can of worms that I didn't even think about.
Yeah. The one's
Bypassing
not
that.
going to work with it. Like it doesn't have enough control. So I definitely want to
Right.
get that
So
stock ESC.
it's funny that talking about control, I actually dialed down the dual rate on that Pro 4 just because it was so twitchy when I was driving. And I never really got into that kind of stuff. I was like, what? Just 100, duh, right? Like 100 on everything. Why not?
Oh, same with drag car. Turn it down.
I was like, hey, I can keep this thing kind of straight now.
Yep.
Like, it was amazing.
It's
So
like video games when I'm trying to play like the first person shooters
yeah,
and like so I'm on my myself here and I'm like
right.
this all over because I'm trying to line it up. I always overshoot because there's so much. I can't do just the little micro adjustments. I need to just turn it down so that my movement is much
Yeah.
slower, almost like the dual rate of the controller somehow,
It's
because
like
I don't
flying
have the control that my boys have.
yeah, it's like flying the
Um,
Phantom drones. Remember the Phantom 3 and the Phantom 4s? It's like flying a big fat Cadillac in the air where it's just like
yeah,
like oh those I love flying those because they're so
yeah.
smooth.
Then you get
But
one that doesn't have that control. It's all over the place.
yeah, doing
Yeah,
hockey stops. Yeah.
yeah. So, well, hey man, we should wrap this up. Um, I've got the lead on you right now. You didn't get the whole shot, so
It's all right.
you got some ground to make up by the finish line.
Is this a face of worry? No. I'm
Yeah.
an 11th.
I work best under pressure, so the closer it gets, the more I'm gonna really get into it.
What'd you do? Oh, there I am. Now I think for the essence of entertainment, I want to start going hard this weekend. Only because I feel like maybe I felt like I needed to play it up where we did more sequentially. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I just didn't do that. But now we know, maybe we procure all this stuff for the next one before we start the next project.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Or even like we could do like we did where we got involvement, but then don't start the next week. Like, all right, we're gonna plan the next one out, get some rules ready, and then we'll like
yeah,
launch it in a month or so.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that was the thing that kind of put me behind the eight ball, is just that I was like, oh yeah, I got time. And then, hey, you're like, we got 12 days. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
12 days?
Well, and getting this stuff is crucial.
Right.
Because even like, I mean, luckily, if your tech was willing to send it, and they sent the stuff fast too,
Yeah.
because it came from Vietnam
Oh,
and they
wow.
got it here quick, for it being last minute, where we could try to get some of this stuff all squared away ahead of time.
Yeah. We got to
But
start
live and
brainstorming the
learn.
next one. Yep.
Yeah. So we need to start watching the live stream takeover and get ideas from those guys. Do whatever they do, like 2 months
But
later.
better.
Yeah.
Where's your jerky sponsor? Call them up.
I actually had one last July.
Yeah.
No joke. Like I
Yeah.
had a guy reach out to me last July about doing a jerky. Country Meats is what it was called.
You know what we need to do? We need to find someone that makes like the burritos that you buy from the gas station, and just find a company that would sponsor us with burritos and just eat burritos. Gas station burritos on the show. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
it wouldn't work very well for their marketing. Like you guys have to come all the way here to have them.
Yeah.
They don't sell them online or in stores. It's only at this one gas station.
At the Chevron.
Yeah. And you don't want to don't show up unless you got a bulletproof jacket.
Yeah.
'Cause that's where they're the best.
Yeah.
But no, like yeah. So they were harping on me in their last stream pretty good.
Oh
Like,
no.
where have we heard of that before? You have to build a drag car out of something that goes slow, and you have a month to do it. And I'm like, because I didn't even think about it when we were talking. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, we've been playing with the minis all
Yeah.
winter, so that's a great place to start.
Well, let's be honest, it's harder to do with the minis than it is with the big crawler,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they
You
did the
gotta
6x6, so theirs was
I
tricky
know.
too.
I know.
Um,
I'm just trying to
but
make us look better. I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Well, man, Josh's when he was done, sheesh, the engineering that
I
went into that
know.
thing.
All the arrow on it and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
ridiculous.
gosh. But yeah, so it was funny. It's like, okay, we're making crawlers into drag cars, but 24 scale in a month.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that is funny. There's a lot of similarities there. I said,
Yes.
but we're already calling for the sand drags. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys end up doing that next month, we already talked about it. So
Yeah. Yes. See, I'm excited for that one. That's what the DR10 starting. That's as soon as I start building that, that's
yeah.
where we're going with that. So
Well, then he also and I was just like in there. I said, I'm like, well, you guys are so full of yourselves that you think that I tune into all your shows and watch what you guys do. I don't have time to watch your junk.
I,
You guys did what?
for 3 hours, 2 hours. Come on.
You guys made videos of like competitions. I haven't seen any of that.
I've never heard of Scale Builders Guild.
Sheesh. I don't got time to watch you guys.
We got
It's actually some of my favorite stuff to watch.
I know.
But yeah.
Yep.
So I almost messaged him once I realized, once I was typing the rules up, I was
Yeah.
like, this is very similar to what they did 10 scale. If we'd have chosen like the Atlas as our base truck, it would have been like the most total rip ever.
We totally should have.
We should totally do it still.
I know.
No, we should get those little trikes that they have, those drift trikes.
Yes.
And
Make them into monster trucks.
totally copy them there too.
We can do monster truck trikes.
Yeah.
Be like,
Oh
hey,
yeah. Well, we've always got the monster trucks, and that's why I'm like, well, you guys need to copy us. I want to see you do monster. I want to see you guys do a monster truck build off, and then a
right.
freestyle comp.
Well, Matt made a cool monster truck a while ago, but it barely got any screen time. I thought he
Yeah,
did an SMT10 or something like that a while ago.
I know he got one. I don't
Yeah.
remember if he built it really
Or
up.
maybe he made it into a mud truck. I don't remember.
Okay.
I
See,
think he made it into, yeah.
I know he started and he was talking about it, but I don't remember the finished product.
Yeah. Oh well.
But yeah, I got to give him a hard time. But yeah, I like those guys. Didn't mean to copy them. It just kind of came up out of us all talking in the chat and doing whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later that I even realized, oh, this is so close.
Well,
I wonder if they're going to notice.
Yeah,
They did.
they did. We got to make one of those reels with the audio tracks. They're not going to know. They're never going to
Yeah.
know. Like they're
Well,
going to
so
know.
I almost started my last video that I just posted today about the part 2. So I actually have a part 2 of this. Anytime I do a part 1, there's almost never a part 2. So it's like
Yeah.
I've got to be careful about my naming conventions. So
Yeah.
and actually I was thinking I was thinking about making a micro Lloyd body
Oh, there you go. There you
and calling
go.
it the Harley,
Oh,
right?
that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
I'll just call it the Harley. And
Yeah. You could even paint it like
Harley
orange.
24 is what I'll call it.
Yeah, you can paint it orange and black
Yeah.
and call it the Harley.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
He won't know.
No,
He'll
no.
just think that I didn't watch Dumb and Dumber close enough for like the
Yeah.
Harley and Lloyd.
Yeah. There you go.
Harry and Lloyd.
That'd
But
be
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, Matt put a Betty body on his SMT10. Okay.
All right. There you go.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I see the best comment. Burritos.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a story. So
Okay.
you know how just real quick, you know how sometimes your wife goes out of town and you're like, I'm gonna eat whatever not that she like pays attention to what I eat or whatever, but it's like I'm gonna eat whatever I want. So it was summertime. It's a cool evening, and I got a nice few burritos, beef and bean, threw them into the microwave, and those things are like lava bombs, right?
Yep.
Every
Yeah,
time,
it's like a hot pocket.
every time you bite into it. So, not to go into too much detail, but it was hot. It was actually hot. I was just joking, just trying to set the cool evening tone, but it was hot. So I went to bed. I was going to eat them in bed. So I had my shirt off. First, I bit into one, and dude, it just went pow, like, and it like literally gave me a burn. And I'm like, I was like, seriously, now I have to explain this burn to my like. So
oh gosh,
the beans and beef got me. so
oh lordy,
for that reason, I'm out. Like, I'm out on that one. We'll just drop it. Oh
man, just remember, whenever you eat a burrito from here on out, everybody
put a shirt on.
Put a shirt on.
That made me sound terrible walking around shirtless with my burritos blown out all over. All right.
Oh, there you go. That's good stuff.
All right, man.
All right. Well, we'll catch you later. I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm hoping to have mine running by what's today? Tuesday. I hope to have mine running by Sunday. So
I think I'm going to try to have my
Gay Pass.
We'll see where I'm at. The only thing that's slowing me up right now is motor. I have a plan for everything. So the only thing that's slowing me up is motor right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do 100%. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I think that might just be like going too crazy. And to be honest, like I'm going to get my kit, but I'm also going to buy like 3 extra axles just because I have a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling that the way I want to go, I'm going to end up melting some stuff. So
I think I'm going to go on and order chassis rails again because if I have to go to that gasser, I've bent mine now.
You could just hammer those out. They're
Yeah,
thin.
I could just put in a vise probably and squeeze it flat.
Yeah, because they're just flat rail chassis. They're not bent like they're the SCX
Yeah,
24.
they're not C channel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I would just flatten them out. It's not like you're gonna. It's not like it's gonna track weird because it's not perfectly straight.
Perfectly straight. And
I'm
bolting it
telling you,
too, it'll help.
I'm telling you that because it's gonna track wrong. So it'll be fine. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking as I'm bending. I'm like, how much have I just jacked up all of the proportions of the rear end? Like the
Oh,
four link is now cattywampus, and I'm gonna go left
yeah,
till I go right, and then I'm gonna hit
yeah,
a wall.
yep. So
So yeah.
now you're gonna put that pontoon out on the right side, on the left side, so you're like going sideways and trying to go straight at the same time.
Speaking of pontoon, I bought a pontoon boat last night. It
Nice.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the other busyness is now I have to build a dock or find a way to get a dock in the water. The guy left one. He's like, "Yeah, a house comes with a dock." It's in a pile like in the woods over here.
He's like, there's
He
that.
never had it set up. He's like, "Yeah, it comes with it got a dock for you." He didn't set it up. It's just like in the woods, got to figure out how to build it.
Is it a metal dock or is it a wood
No,
dock?
it's like wood. It's like
So it's basically a
homemade
pile of wood.
special.
Yeah. Like he's like,
But
hey, there's a
and
pile of
that's
wood.
sketch too because like the river here fluctuates. Like right now we're flooded, like feet
Yeah.
flooded.
Yeah.
Um, and so the neighbors all have floating docks.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, if I do this, then I'm gonna have to put like a huge pole that I'm actually tie off to so that if the water rises, the boat won't,
Oh, just get like
detach itself.
a shackle, not a shackle. What are they called? The axle D ring. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
The that wraps around the axle with the block on it.
Yeah.
Just get those and put a pipe in there so it just slides up and down on it. Easy.
Oh,
See what I'm
but
saying?
there's no floats under the boat or under the dock. It's
Oh,
heavy wood and it's just used as like 4x4s to the ground. I don't
you
even
know.
know what it uses to the ground. There's nothing. It's just like the top deck of it.
Oh,
It probably honestly floated down river and this guy grabbed it and just threw it in the woods. He was like a total hoarder. So
that's
I don't
awesome.
know.
That's what. So one of the guys that I know took those polyethylene.
Look at this
Uh-oh.
comment.
The bean and cheese meant nothing. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yep. That's the way it went. Yep. That was a
Yeah, there were so many other things I wanted to say when you were talking about the story.
family friendly. Family
Yeah.
friendly. Yeah. Not what I was gonna say. What a guy did that I know is he took those polyethylene 55-gallon drums
Mm-hmm.
and put
Seal them
them,
up.
sealed them up and put them underneath and made his float that way. He actually made a pontoon boat out of those, and it floats very well.
So when I was in Peru, and I think I drank enough Coke for this to happen, legit. I went on the floating Uros Islands. They're
Uh-huh.
man-made islands where they take these root balls that float and they combine them all together, tie them together, and then they put like thatch on it, and they make these islands that float with just
Oh, weird.
yeah, it's super awesome.
That's cool.
And they make boats out of this, thatched whatever
Root
weeds,
ball. Yeah.
and but they make the pontoons, so they just kind of weave this thatching together, and then they fill it with 2-liter bottles, and then they
Oh,
just
there you
close
go.
it up over them, and so the pontoons are literally just closed up pop bottles that make their boats float.
There you
And
go.
actually, on one of those, they had a double decker, and they were taking us on this little tour. And I was flying my drone, and splish splash, it flew into Lake Titicaca, which is
Oh,
like I think the largest, highest lake in the world or something in Peru.
that's in the
Way
Andes,
up in
right?
the
Yeah.
way up in the mountains, and huge lake, 2 miles high. Yeah, crazy. But
That's nuts.
I sacrificed one of my drones to the lake. It was a bummer because the footage would have been epic. I
Uh,
do now have footage. I went back, and funny enough, I had the new Mavic, and this time we're on like electric boats, and I'm like, I'm gonna fly. I didn't get this footage last time. We're driving the boat, and I'm just gonna go up and fly it around and come back, get some of it.
yeah,
We're gonna come back to the islands anyway, but I'm just bored and I want to fly the drone.
yeah.
I go to take off. Well, because we're moving, it takes off and the boat keeps moving, and it sees the edging
Oh no.
and it stops because of the sensors, like to not hit
Right.
things.
Right.
And it just hovered there, and the boat just bam into it over the side of the boat. Luckily, it landed on the deck below.
Oh,
Chewed up all the props. Luckily, I had extra ones. Fixed
yeah.
them up. Flew it because we were out in
Oh,
these
man.
really wild places. I've been to some crazy places, but I'll
Yeah.
have to send you a link to that video at some point. It's a so yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I have some video on our YouTube of Hawaii that went out and flew, and I flew around and blow holes and probably shouldn't have,
Nice. Right.
and all that stuff that you're not supposed to fly around. But I was out there at dark 30 at sunrise, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some really cool shots out there. Hiked up Waiheke. They did some of the Jurassic Park stuff and was flying out there and did a couple blowholes and a couple other different places. But we went up to, I didn't fly up there, but we went up to the top of Haleakala, and that was
Okay.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. So got to see the sunset, underneath the sun. Oh, it's gorgeous.
We stayed on Molokai for a week for work stuff with the people there, and there's a leopard colony that used to be there.
Is Molokai that guy that works at Chick-fil-A? No. Just kidding.
But it's a cool island because they wouldn't let any business really come in. Like one end of it was resort, but that all closed down pretty much. There used to be, I think, a Burger King out there, but all of that's no longer. It's just the people of Molokai, and they don't like guests and people coming in and renting stuff. And we were lucky enough that we had several locals that we were with for it. But so we went to one of these really awesome spots where it opens up, and I'm flying my drone, not thinking anything of it, like going over this little inlet, and there's a huge waterfall way in the back, and I'm just going out there. But the problem is Molokai has the really big sheer cliff sides on the side of the mountain.
So
So
you get the wind.
all of the helicopter tours come from Maui,
yeah,
super low,
yeah,
and they fly in there.
yeah.
So I'm out, like I can't, it's gone. Like I can't see it. All I see is like I'm just tracking the trees in this waterfall trying to get out there. And next thing I know, there's a helicopter coming in to do a tour of that. And I freaked out, man.
Yeah.
Don't do that kind of stuff anymore. That was one time enough to know.
Well, that's what happened in the Waiheke Ridge when I was out there, because I was at sunrise. I hiked out there in sunrise, and then probably 2 hours later, I started seeing the helicopters dropping in because it's like a valley, and the helicopters. And it's funny because some helicopters would kind of go around it, and then there's one helicopter you could tell because they were doing rounds. One helicopter would just come in and just be like, just like drop down in there, and I'm like, I want that guy. Like that's the guy I want to fly with. Like,
they're nuts.
Yeah. And
so I did that with the drone. I dropped into the trees. I'm like, if it's gone, it's gone. I am not like causing a helicopter crash.
Right.
So I actually went down into the trees and just like let it hover till they got out.
Right.
And then I just brought that thing straight back, like returned to home. Like,
well,
no more.
When I did that, when I was talking about the blowhole thing, I pushed out and I was way out, like, I don't know how far out after I went around that. And then I went out to sea and I came back. And I got the low battery level, but the wind was pushing me out. And I was coming and I was
you
like,
can't fight it.
Oh, dude. And I was like full pin coming in. And it was literally like, and then stop and drop. It literally dropped like 20 feet in front of me. Just boom, landed. And I was like, thank goodness. Like I actually got it back to the ground, kind of a thing. And people were coming in at that time because it was, I was now there when people started showing up. And it was like, all of a sudden they see this little, Phantoms are pretty big, just flying in and dropping. I was like, I'm out. Peace. So, but yeah, Crazy.
We missed this before we started getting off topic. Said I found this way too late. So many brushless systems that will push these beyond what you've seen. I'm working on direct drive brushless wheels for a drag C10.
Yep.
If the drag C10, I wonder if he's doing it off of like a C10 SCX24. Because if you
Yeah.
did, you would want totally direct drive because you'd want to ditch those worm gears.
Right.
I wonder if that's what
Oh,
he means by direct drive, like Kyosho style direct drive.
yeah. I bet you that's what he was talking about. Because I'm worried about going direct drive into the diff, into
Yeah.
the ring and pinion, because I think it's just going to melt. Like, it's just going to get too hot. I don't know how I would keep it cool. I mean, I could put a lot of grease, pack a bunch of grease in there, but it's just going to get hot. Like,
You should just zip tie motors to the axle cases and
and
then
then,
screw the wheels right onto the motors
but we can
off
only
the
have one
axle.
motor. I know.
Oh, it'd be a one-wheel drive. That is right. We
Yeah.
said one motor.
Unless we get
So forget that.
really crazy and I take a shaft off and weld on another shaft, and then I could have like an outrunner
Go coming out the
style.
backside of it.
Yeah, now we're talking. Oh, that would be crazy. That would be nuts.
That would be nuts. If you just did
Oh,
a super huge shaft through the whole motor that
yeah.
went to both wheels and you screwed on,
Yeah. I wonder if I could do that.
directed to the wheels.
Now I'm looking at a brushless motor to be like, can I take this thing apart? Oh, come on. All the sounds. Man, that mic really picks up all these ancillary sounds.
Luckily, they're not coming into my headphones today because my system isn't working right.
Well, this is one of those Amazon special 4-pole
Yeah,
3900 whatevers.
completely sealed rear.
Yeah, but the bearings in the back there. So theoretically, if I got the off, I could weld another shaft to it and machine it down, right? So it's
Yeah,
balanced. I guess that's the hardest thing is balancing it. But who cares, right? We only need a couple runs out of it. Super fast. That would be pretty.
that'd be nuts. That'd be quite a build.
That would be a lot of speed. That'd be a lot of speed.
That
I
would
don't
be
know how.
wicked for direct though. Why aren't they doing that? Like literally just put the motor inside the axle with the shaft that goes through the whole thing to the wheels
Well, you
and
wouldn't even
power
have
it
to do
up.
that. So if you had the two frame rails, right?
Yeah.
I would just basically make a bracket that caught two of the holes, top and bottom,
Yeah.
that went,
And
like,
mounted it front or behind, wherever you want.
yeah, well, it would be on axle, basically the axle.
Yeah.
But I guess theoretically we said you have to use a real axle for drive.
Yeah, but if it's there, if it's fully hit up and you just literally you could add a brace to that came up over the back and that's now mounted to your axle.
No, we didn't say it had to be the drive axle. Right?
The rear axle had to be
Element.
intact, but it doesn't necessarily have to power the car, I guess. If as
Right.
long as you strap that to, we said you could modify and add stuff to the axle,
Right.
like to remount your links or whatever. So if you wanted to move your motor and actually just strap it to the back of the axle, you could probably do that.
I
But it's
wouldn't,
going to be such a long, thin shaft that it's going to probably bounce and flex a lot under speed,
what I'm wondering.
under that rotation amount. Don't you think it's going to?
So, well, I'm actually thinking even bigger outside the box now. I don't have that axle in front of me, but I have the 24. What if you just put a gear on the outside of the axle
And spun it that way?
and put the motor like, in front of the gear,
Yep.
and then you would just bypass
Thank
the
you,
drive
Casey.
line. That's what she said.
Yeah. Yeah. As I was saying it, I was like, yep.
Yep.
I was waiting for it. So thank you.
We need a chime.
Yeah.
Like
So
a
that's,
timer.
but that's basically a Kyosho Mini Z setup, right? They put the
Yeah.
motor in the back and they just have a gear on one of the axles
Right.
and it spins it directly there and it transfers it to the other side as well.
Right. And yeah,
Then
because
all
you
you
could,
have to do is run a straight rod internally.
or just
You could
figure a way to lock
bypass
it.
the diff and everything.
Yeah, just make a locker for it.
Yeah.
Easy. Oh, that's a lot of work, but that would be pretty sick. That's a ton of
Well,
work.
I mean, I would just do a whole axle
I got it. I got it.
straight.
Here's what you do. You get a gear, a spur gear, and you just mount it to the back side of the bead lock. Right, with a long bolt with long screws.
Yep.
And then you just have this gear on the inside of the wheel or if I 3D printed a gear that was wider, the gear doesn't have to be like, it could be that wide.
Yep. You just have to make connection with it at some point.
Right, exactly. Ooh. That would be massive power. And then at that point, you could even put the motor.
What I would do though is I'd come off the bead lock though, and then step it down to the gear. So it's a smaller gear. Because if you do a big like spur gear,
It's tall gears, man. It's high speed, low drag. Right?
yeah.
It would just be it'd be reverse of like the pinion, like it would be like having like a drag
Well,
car.
one of them you go smaller and it goes faster. One of them you go bigger and it goes smaller. I think if you do that gear bigger,
There'd be a ratio, yeah. There'd definitely be a ratio. That would be the golden ratio on that. Now I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to call. I'm gonna have to phone a friend. I have a machinist friend. And I'm gonna be like, how do I draw a 32 pitch gear?
but if you think about a bicycle, the rear one, the smaller you go, the faster it is. So the rear sprocket, like the one that's
Yeah,
directly on the wheel itself,
right,
and then the other one that's driving it, the bigger you go, the faster it is.
right.
So I think you'd want a smaller gear because you get it moving that wheel faster around. If it's a small gear, that little movement turns it much faster. If you do a big gear right on the wheel, you've got to move that tooth all the way around it to get any movement, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
the
no,
one so I'd want to strap right to that bead lock with a piece of that plastic and then have
yeah,
it step down to a smaller size gear so that you're quickly getting that wheel spinning around faster because each revolution only has to do so many teeth instead of
yeah. I could
so
just
you
3D
want
print a
smaller.
wheel. I could just
Huh?
3D print. I could just 3D print a wheel.
That has a gear right on it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then if you lock that whatever your axle is just direct all the way across to the other one, you don't
Yeah.
even need a diff.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you just locked it up, like if you found out what that slot size is and 3D printed a little locker in there, that's all you would need, right? Because it's already aligned with bearings.
Yeah.
So if you just put that little 3D print locker in there, and then you'd be off to the
Yep.
races, as I said before. Oh man.
I'm not doing any of that stuff, so good luck.
Tony, how
I
does
want
it?
to try to find so for me, I have a vacuum former, so I want to do some kind of a cool body.
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like. I wish I had better 3D print skills, design skills, because I'd love to like that one guy had that mold there, and of his cool bodies. It wouldn't need a whole lot of shape. I wouldn't do a whole lot with it. I just a few curves, and so I'm gonna see what I can do, even
Those
if I have to make it out of clay.
those HPI bodies, tires, are they unmountable from those wheels?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
have 2 more if you want. I'll send them to you.
Well, I can just go pick them up at our store too. I think they
Okay,
have
they're
them at our
kind of
store.
small is the only thing. Like I would want taller wheels for more speed per revolution.
Yeah. I
That's the
still
only thing I feel.
I still really want to run a real rubber tire because I want to do smoke, but I don't
Well, those are
know.
rubber tires.
Are they?
The HPI ones are small, tight rubbers.
Okay.
That's
Come on. Come on.
uh,
So
try
not
Tinkercad. That's what I need. What I need to do is get my 3D printer working good. Because the problem is, I just want to go out and buy a stinking
model.
Prusa,
Oh, yeah.
just because I'm so tired of I can't figure out how to do all the fine tuning. I just want one that works.
Should have
But
just got an
I
Enderman.
just bought a boat, so now
I'm
I'm
on a
trying to.
boat.
I told my wife that the money would come out of my YouTube stuff, so
Yeah.
to find the extra money. Where's the overspending being done?
On a boat. Are you gonna
Yeah,
be
I
with
mean, like when I look at it per month, like I'm like, where can we cut back spending to be able to afford a boat?
yeah.
I don't know. Do the kids need to eat every 3 meals a day?
I know. You're gonna be popping that crystal on the boat on your pontoon.
Yeah. Can we just maybe have 1 cat instead of 2?
Oh, how about 0 cats? Oh, I'm not a cat guy.
One of ours, Gandalf, is just
It's a
I like
great
him a lot.
That's a great
He's
name for a cat.
Gandalf the Grey. We got him. He was gray, and he was a little kitten, but he had these long ear hairs
Yeah.
that stuck out. And I'm like, dude, Gandalf, he's like old man ear hair.
I saved a cat today,
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but there's our neighbor's cat, and it was in the middle of the road, and she's gray with white feet, right? Like concrete gray.
yeah,
And this guy comes flying down the road, and I jump out, and I'm like waving my hand, and he didn't even slow down. And then he slowed down when he saw the cat. So he didn't brake for me, he braked for the cat that I was trying to say. And I'm like, all right, dude, like whatever. Like, but that cat would have been flattened if
yeah,
if I hadn't done it. So, but
yeah. I had a friend's dad who used to, even when we were in the car, would aim for cats. If they were within 5 feet of the road, like
man,
he'd go off road to try and hit them.
I had a chicken
It
once.
was scary as a kid, and I liked cats as a kid, so I was terrified.
Traumatized.
Like,
Yeah,
what an awful human being.
I hit a chicken once, and I told my wife it was a paper bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, we were in Africa in the middle of Sierra Leone, driving in this beater of a. It wasn't that bad. It was a Land Rover, but it broke down at some point because we ended up in a different Land Rover coming back. I remember that.
Yeah.
Um, but we hit a pig,
Ooh.
like some dude's pig, and we stopped, and like people were not happy, and we're just
Oh,
like, dude,
yeah.
your pig was in the middle of the road, like. Like, we'll buy you a new pig, like, I
Yeah.
understand, like, they have nothing,
It's their
and, like,
sustenance.
so we
Yeah.
felt terrible, and so we're just like, "Can we buy it? Can we what can we do?" Like,
Yeah.
"We'll buy you new," and, the guy only wanted half. He's like, "We'll eat this one." He's like, he said, "It's my fault." All the rest of the neighbors were the angry ones. The
Yeah.
owner was like, "Hey, it's my fault. I'm sorry that, like, you guys had to go through hitting this
Right.
and damage your car," but anyway, yeah. So Dirt Zombie Videos HD, Easy RC, FMS axles are good for this. They aren't within our rules for this particular one. It has to be the Element RC because we wanted to set boundaries that would keep everybody within some rules. The rules aren't posted in this video. They were posted in the last one. I'll add them to the description.
They're on your
Um,
website. Drive
yeah,
people to
they're on
your
my
website.
website.
Yeah. Go to his
Yeah,
website.
CCXRC.com. There's
Buy,
one right there. The first thing is the rules for it.
buy some
Um,
brass. Just kidding.
But if you want to jump in, that I mean, just there's a few rules about when it's got to be submitted, and it's by the 13th, so 2 Sundays from now. And we're just getting started too, so you're not behind the 8 ball if you want to
No.
join. But it starts basically with the frame rails and the rear axle of the Element RC they have to be included. You can change out transmissions, you can change out shocks, you can change out wheels and tires to a degree, all listed in that rule sheet. But yeah,
Okay, so
so
here's my plan, Tony. I'm gonna
okay,
go with a modified stock with this trans and stuff that we got from Furatech and see how far I can go with it in a week. And then I'm gonna go while I'm doing that, I'm gonna be designing plan
so you
B.
have your safety though.
That's my safety.
Record it. You
That's
want to
yeah,
record it. Make sure you have a safety. Yeah.
right, right. And that's my run in. And but the thing is, so okay, so right? This doesn't okay, so this doesn't have a plate for a did this come with a pinion or anything like that? I don't think it did. Okay,
No.
so I got to figure out a plate and a pinion for that. But I got to figure out a motor to run on that. So Mofo's got the one for the bigger motor, right?
Yep. It's
Okay.
called the
The
rocket
big.
surpass rocket. It says it 1410 size.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All
And
right.
that just has a bigger opening, and it does it's slotted so you can
Right.
set your mesh.
So I just basically have to find a 12,001 kV motor.
Or just gear it different. That's all I'd do is I'd just gear it different. Or run it 3S.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do the 9500 and run it 3S and go faster than the 12,000.
You think so?
Oh yeah. 3S, you might burn stuff up, but you only got to make a couple passes.
Yeah. Why
Do a
not?
couple on 2S, get yourself acquainted, and then
Yeah. See,
up it for a run.
I want it to look like a drag car. So it's gonna be that
Like street rod drag or
yeah, like street. So I've got that Vega body.
oh yeah, you've got that cool body, yeah.
Yeah. So that's printing right now. And I think and I want the tires to stuff underneath there. So if I could do that, I think that'll be where it's at. And then I got to figure out how to weight it down. That's the biggest thing. I think weight and getting the rubber down is the way to do it. So
I thought about getting another chassis and strapping them together. That way I could take and stretch mine and put the original transmission plate in it to run the front links off of. So I'd
okay.
have the back one set up to run the back links in axle, and then that front chassis set up to do it. Because I would love to do like a funny car look, of some kind, like the old Traxxas drag cars that they used to have.
Yep.
I would love to have that, but I think time's a killer there.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I want to stick with this, like keeping it short wheelbase, but just dialing in to drive.
Well, my goal was always how fast can you go kind of stockish, which is why I went back to
right. And that's kind of what I want to do too.
Frame.
Like I really want to do the crazy stuff that we talked about, and maybe I still will, but just on a different axle. I mean, maybe I might sneak 2 builds out at the same time, but I definitely want to do the right one. You know what I mean? Like do it so it's close and it's not too crazy that people can't do. I don't want to be that guy that shows up with like a perfectly milled, machined, pressed carbon fiber, all that kind of stuff. See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Who wants to be that guy? I'm just kidding.
I would love to know how to do all this stuff that he knows how to do.
Yeah.
It amazes me to sit and watch him work because my brain doesn't process in the same particular way. Yours would be closer, I think, in the way that you guys dream up things and go for it.
I think the big barrier for me is that my job as an RC, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I think he has that kind of scalability. Uh,
Things
that's
that he's working on for other projects can be
that
kind of
okay.
adopted across.
There's the talk your face off shirt, scalability.
Yep.
Like we just make the t-shirt that
I
says that.
actually was thinking about actually taking the logo, the screaming face one, and doing a talk your face off just shirt too.
There you go.
It's so easy with Teespring to
Oh,
just
I know. Yeah.
upload a logo. Scale ability.
Yep. I like that. You can make it phonetic looking, right? With the
Mhm.
brackets and the umlauts or whatever on top of it. That'd be dope. There you go. I can crank that out. I'm a typography guy. So
I need to do my logo again in some kind of just straight across type of fonting too.
yeah.
So when I can't throw my logo down on, I can have a straight across version because I have it on my website and it's like that was like get it done,
Yeah.
but it's not
Well, that's the hard
not
thing
like
about
cool like this.
yeah, our logo is tough too because it's asymmetric. Like it looks like it's centered, but it's not. And
Yeah.
it always throws me off when I'm designing it. And I'm like, ugh. And this is our old logo. Our new logo looks like it has like a pencil on the top almost, but
Uh
just slightly different. But
very cool.
anyways. All right, man.
I
Let's
dig
wrap
it.
it up. Yep.
Yep.
Let's wrap
All
it
right.
up. Cool.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Still got people hanging out. That's awesome. Even though we semi wrapped about
An hour ago.
an hour ago. We just didn't want those other guys hanging around.
No.
Yeah, that was it. Pablo, man, always fun chatting with you and going wherever this goes. It's fun.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, everybody. I think we're gonna have carnage. I think
I
we
hope
are.
so. If I don't get a fast speed, I want it to explode.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm gonna print another body immediately after I print this body. Just so I have a backup. So,
Oh yeah, the same exact one. Yes, good
yeah.
idea.
Yep.
I need to talk to you about where to find good bodies. Oh, that's
Yeah.
car bodies.
I know a
Yep.
guy.
We digress. See you guys.
All right. Take it easy.